Good morning, traders. Today is Monday, October 11th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. Jason, thank you so much for the follow first thing in the morning. Happy to have you. All right, well, I started today on the daily chart because we're still asking ourselves the question, the ultimate question of all questions this week is, was the lows that we created last week the low of the bigger move? Meaning we're ready to start trending higher here, or is the larger downtrend in the market still in play, and this was just another little dead cat bounce within the further selling? So we talked about yesterday about the way the volume looked at the lows. It looked interesting to me that it could have been setting up to be a good low. But the one thing that's catching my eye now this morning when I look at the market with a fresh perspective is that this trend line coming down from the highs is still being respected. We didn't quite test it last week, but we came pretty close. But you can just kind of visually see that the downtrend is still intact here. Okay. Also, the 20 crossing the 50 moving average, that was a bearish sign. And now the market's starting to work its way to that 20 crossing the 100 simple moving average. So that's another bearish signal if it's able to cross lower. So both of those things just catch my eye right away, that this market is not necessarily broken out of the downtrend just yet. Now, that doesn't mean that this won't be the low of the move. It just means that we haven't gotten our confirmation of continuation higher just yet. So we'll be looking for that this week. So how does that play out looking at the morning this morning? Okay. Well, the overnight inventory traded down to backfill the gap that we had left behind last week. So they filled that gap, and then they basically spent the rest of the overnight period just rotating inside that gap's sort of range down there. So that's slightly bearish. The overnight inventory is net short, but again, we've absorbed a lot of that overnight inventory already, being that the market traded all the way down to here and then worked its way back up. So whilst I do expect some counter auction to the upside when the market opens in 2 minutes, it doesn't necessarily have to be much. Okay, so the first thing to keep an eye on is yesterday's low. We'll actually be opening, if we were to open right now, with a very, very small gap. So gap rules would be in play. And essentially what we'd be watching that low for is when the market trades back up into yesterday's range, does it immediately find resistance and start to pull back down? That would be bearish to see. Or does it pull back into yesterday's range, come back down, and then find support around yesterday's low? That would be bullish for continuation higher. So that's the first level to keep a close eye on, is yesterday's low. And then to the downside, if we do start to trade lower, the target to the downside becomes filling the gap, which is getting to the high from 10.6, which is at 43.55.75. There is some support along the way there with the two previous daily highs. So the one potential support would be at about 67, 43.67. Come on, data. Hurry up and load so I can keep talking to the people now. So, yep, 67 is about the first potential support there, and then the next one would be about 60. So if we find support at either of those highs, the market could turn around and head back up. If not, it needs to test that the gap fill and see if that's enough. It was for the overnight. Look, as soon as they filled that gap, they spent the rest of the night trading at higher prices. So it worked for the overnight. No reason it won't work for us. If that gap fails, or if filling that gap fails, so the market trades down, gets below that level, doesn't find support, comes back up, finds resistance, and starts continuing lower, that is extremely bearish that the larger trend that we were just talking about looking at the daily chart is still intact. Okay? But finding support in here, really finding support anywhere in this gap today, could mean we are on our way to break out to the upside. Okay. So that's what I'm watching. First thing, main thing to watch is yesterday's low, Friday's low. All right, guys. Well, I don't know if you noticed, my data was doing something funky. The NQ was working, but the ES wasn't. So I'm restarting that on up. Good morning to RK and Amir. Good to see you guys. First one's in this morning. Mangala, good to see you. Vincent is here. Good morning to you. Philip is back with us. Good to see you. David is here. Welcome. Speedboat in the house. Good morning to you. Jay Trader. Good morning. Welcome. Blessings. Good morning to you, sire, as well. Alexander. Good morning to you. Nick is here. Nicholas is here. Welcome. Design Knob is here. Giggity. Alexander back with us. Peter, it's looking bullish to you. Well, I got to wait for my profile software to get up and running again here, but so far it looks like it's going nowhere. Where you going? Nowhere. Ronald, good morning. Miles is here. Good to see you. GM back with us. JG back with us. Bro, those letters, they're killing me every time. David V, good to see you. Welcome. Hey, Nor Auto Trader's back with us. Good to see you, brother. You've had COVID for 2 months? That sucks, man. Well, hopefully you're feeling better now. Jonathan from Australia out of his lockdown day. Congratulations. Okay, so far it looks like the market pushed up into yesterday's range and we're kind of bouncing around right at that low, looking for support. Remember, finding support at yesterday's low is good for continuation to the upside because the overnight market spent so much time rotating beneath there. But first, we got to make sure we got support. Alexander says they got to take out 43.90 for him to give them a chance. You mean to get you bullish? Yeah, if they can hold this low, they're getting me bullish right now. At least for a short-term trade up to the week reference above. Obviously, anywhere inside of yesterday's range, we could find resistance and start a rotation down. But if the first thing the market does is open and then build support at yesterday's low, that is bullish to me that they're trying to take the market higher. BTC is pumping. BTC is pumping. Whoa, 57. Yes, you're right. Whenever I see one of these, I always know what it is in Bitcoin. You never like notice them in real time when they happen. Honestly, I should have years ago built a bot to recognize this, but you get this all the time in Bitcoin where you get one random candle like this where it just has a massive drop instantaneously and then it pushes higher, and that almost always leads to a big push higher, because that was the squeeze, right? All of the highly leveraged traders on the leveraged platforms, they just come in and they squeeze all of them out of their longs, and then they instantly shoot higher. So yeah, I've seen this one a million times before. Bullish on the corn. Bullish on the Bitcoin. And I'm feeling bullish on the ES here. Fred, well, sellers couldn't keep the market below Friday. Looking at the overnight high and Friday's POC and continuation higher. So you're looking at those targets hitting hitting last night's overnight high, then Friday's POC, and then continuation higher. Sure, that makes sense. David V, does Columbus Day affect volume? Not that I'm aware of. Malcolm's saying, yes, the bond markets are closed. That's true. The bond markets are closed. But I don't know how it would affect futures volume. We'll have to wait and see. Chris, it was only on Bitstep. Yeah, I mean, that's the point is that when you see that, though, it usually means that the bigger players are ready to pump the market. That's like their go-to algorithm pre-bump is always a quick liquidation that happens literally in a matter of like 2 minutes. They eat up all the stops, and then they immediately take it higher. All right, guys. Well, I'm switching to a bullish stance here as the market is doing its job, right? Found support at yesterday's low, and it's now pushing higher, bringing in volume, creating a node of volume, pushing higher, bringing in volume, creating a node of volume. That is a sign of a trend. That is a sign that they are bullish and wanting to take the market higher. Good morning, Jose. Welcome. Good morning, Tom. Good to see you. Mangala, this is a long squeeze. Are you talking about what I was mentioning in Bitcoin earlier? Obviously, this is a short squeeze. What we're seeing right now in the market, not a long squeeze. TP, how do you trade the bullish? Pirate traders wait for come down to test 43.84. Yeah, I would buy support. So you got your first support right here at 43.89. So you could buy that, or you could wait to buy the one down here at 84. Or if you think they're going to test it again, you can wait for the node of volume just above the low, but I don't think we get back down there. Good morning, person whose name I can't read. Caught, welcome to you. Black Cat is his name? All right, well, welcome, Black Cat. Good morning. Yeah, so the question of opening outside of the balance and then quickly coming back in is a strong upside signal for today. Um, I don't know if I'd say strong upside signal, but it is a signal that the market didn't need to trade lower, right? Um, so what he's talking about is the fact that we opened just below, literally just a few ticks below yesterday's low. So the fact that we were only a few ticks below it, that's no big deal. We'd expect that gap to fill for sure. And then we look to see once it fills, do buyers step in? Clearly they did. They stepped in above that price. So that right there, it's not like, it doesn't mean we're going to get continuation for the rest of the day today. It just means that the market didn't need to go back this morning. So now we take it one step at a time. So we've pushed higher. We're almost about to repair the weak reference we left behind from yesterday. So once that's repaired, we look for the market to pull back down. Where does it find support? Does it continue to build in this node here? Does it start to build higher in one of these nodes over here? Right? If it continues to build support, we continue to assume it will trade higher. But we are pushing into that potential overhead resistance, right? The longer down trend is looming up in here. So this isn't a signal that will be bullish the rest of the day, but it is certainly a signal that we were able to get up to repair this first week reference. And then we got to take each new thing one step at a time. Laggards waiting the wing. Oh, design knob. Not yet, man. It's first half an hour of the day. The early majority hasn't even had a chance to jump on yet. So let's wait and see now that it's repaired that first week reference, right? The first target to the upside. Let's see how it reacts. Do we build volume up here? The market cannot pull back at all. They're so desperate to buy, they'll buy it at these higher prices. Or do they let the market pull back here a little bit? Does it find support here? Does it find support around the half back? You know, the higher it finds support, the more bullish it'll be for continuation. But it's definitely moving like a bullish day. Like the buyers are in control. Okay, the battle's not over, but it's worth mentioning that the buyers are defending this 96 level, which, like I said, now we find out how bullish they are based on what they buy. Do they buy this node, or do they need to pull down to this one, or maybe this one? The higher the node, the more bullish. The fact that they are defending this 96, 97 level, that is slightly bullish. So let's see if they can get the next push up. By the looks of it, they probably won't give me a chance. River Rock. Oh, you're looking for 92? Nah, never say never, man. That's the node where I'm thinking I would step in here. I just took a quick little scalp at this price. But no, I think they got to pull back down to 92 one more time. So just a reminder for everyone here about the resistance that's sitting up above us. We're starting to push right up against that on the daily candlesticks. Like that right there. So it would make sense that for the market to have the strength to really continue to push through that, it would need to pull back down and bring in more buyers. But right now, the momentum is to the upside. Jitting that POC makes no sense. Makes perfect sense to me. The market spent no time at all down here. It just instantly pushed higher. Now it's grinding. So yeah, that makes perfect sense for a PO sizzle. Another opportunity to test the bullishness of this market is, do we bounce off the zero line on a pullback down to the zero line on the ticks? Does the market bounce off of that? It currently is on the NASDAQ. So that is bullish as well. $118 people watching, 42 likes. Please remember to smash that like button. That thumbs up costs you nothing, but it really helps the channel. Thank you kindly for them likes. Appreciate you. Jitin Patel, cliff at 97. Yeah, that cliff was going the other way, though. That was a cliff of sellers that were piling on right there. And we broke through. River Rock SBUX upgraded to a buy at Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank. Cool. Jonathan, is it a bank holiday today? Yes, it is. It's a funky holiday in America. Some people take the day off and some don't. But the markets are open, so here I am. Nicholas, have I looked at order flow as a complement to market profile? I have not, but there are people in the Brigade who do that and discuss it in the Discord. Doge Bank. All right, well, the buyer's running out of steam here, so they need a pullback. So now we just kind of look at it node by node as the market begins to pull back. And we can look at these nodes from the 8th as well. So does this act as support here to here? Next potential support, next potential support, next potential support. And then we just kind of see, where does the market bring in the buyers? The market appears to need no support. Yep, that is the most bullish outcome. When they don't need a pullback to keep buying, they just buy right where they're at. So the market remains bullish. Fred, oh my, this market is crazy. It's not crazy if you got long down here. Then it's beautiful. No bond market open to scare the markets. That's true. And also the idea that the volume overall today is a bit less than normal. So thinner volume, easier to push around. Yeah, Black Cat. If the market remains up in this area for the rest of the day and doesn't pull back down at all, we will end up with a P shape, which will be a sign that it was short covering that got us here. But right now, this still feels like a bullish trend. So it's not just liquidating of short positions. It's also new money buyers piling on. And I get that from the nodes of volume moving higher throughout the morning. Right? That's new buyers stepping in. Shorts covered to push us up to here, but then new buyers stepped in. Pushing us higher, pushing us higher. So I still think we're trending. And we just got to wait till the trend is done to reassess things. TP, yes, the market is open all day today. The stocks and the futures are. All right, feels like the markets are starting to run out of some steam here. Obviously, the bullish momentum continues, but I'm watching the taper of this. Right now, it's not very good taper, but if they push back up towards the high, bring in some volume here, and then taper it out better, we might be looking at a short-term high right here. Just watching the way the ticks look like they're almost getting ready to start trending down. All right, Rocket, congratulations, brother. Enjoy the rest of your day. That was an easy one. Okay, Black Cat. So if the sellers take out the B period low, then we will be a signal to rotation. You will look for the viewing till they wouldn't go through the current half. Okay, so yeah, let me step back and try to phrase that the way I think you're meaning to ask it. So let's say we print the C period here in 3 minutes, and the market is still up here. So yeah, from that point forward, the thing to watch in terms of a trend is, can the C period low stay above the B period low? Okay, so let me zoom in just a hair here. So let's say that it does. Let's say that we open the C period, it trades straight down, and it gets 2 ticks below the B period low. That is a signal that we call the cessation of one time framing. Okay, so that would mean that from that point forward, the highest probability is that the market will just rotate. It will go up and down. So from that point, I use the high. In this case, it would be the B period high, and the low of the day, which in this case would be the A period low. Sorry about all that noise. Somebody's doing construction in the neighborhood. Hold on just one second. Let me close the window. So let's say that the C period trades down. It gets the cessation of one time framing. This is my high. This is my low. And I basically just assume the market is going to continue rotating inside this range until it either breaks out above that high, comes down, finds support, brings in volume, and then continues to trade higher, or same thing with the low. It pushes below, comes in, finds resistance, and then starts to trade lower. Any other scenario than that, I just assume it's going to rotate back to the POC, which is currently, in the upper third of the range, not quite in the middle. Okay. And so my assumption is, if the C period were to come down and cause the cessation, we're just going to rotate at higher prices. But as of now, that has not happened. As of now, the market is still one time framing higher. So we don't think about rotation right now. We don't worry about a rotational strategy or where we would go long or short or anything. We don't even let it cross our minds. Because right now, the market generated information is saying this market wants to continue to trade higher. So we stick with that. We assume it wants to continue to trade higher, and we look for trades in that way, as opposed to making an assumption about what could happen in the future if the C period gets below the B period. Better to wait for that to happen, then worry about those scenarios. And right now, just be focused on the one time framing higher. Okay. That being said, we printed the C period here. We left behind all these single prints in the B period. That gives it a slightly higher probability that the market will trade back down and backfill these single prints. And if it does that, it'll be right on top of that B period low. So, a higher chance that they'll get the cessation there if they do backfill these single prints. So to simplify it, if you're confused, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, as long as the C period low stays above the B period low, it can go 1 tick below, but it has to stay at least 1 tick below or higher. If it does, I'm only looking for long trades. Okay? To look for a short trade, I have to see it get 2 ticks below that B period low. Otherwise, I assume it's just going to keep trending higher the rest of the day until we get that cessation. Okay? All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Kind of a slow day in the chat, but I understand it's Monday. It's a holiday. So we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow morning. And if you're not a member of the Brigade, you can click the link in the description. Join the Brigade. It costs $10 a month, and then you get to hang out for the full trading day. and ask me anything. All right, guys. So I'm going to switch on over to that Brigade room, and I will see the rest of you here tomorrow morning. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.